Hey folks, and welcome to another Sasoi spikeboarding demonstration tutorial. And today we are in Brooklyn, New York, and we're traveling along the bike path along the western edge of Prospect Park. And Prospect Park is a wonderful 6.3 mile loop with a high side and a low side. There's just one climb and one descent, and the top is flat and the bottom is relatively flat. So it's recently paved, about half of it, and brand new pavement. It's got great lane delineations, so it's got a nice little sweet spot for slow riders and fast riders, and then the joggers, and everybody's out getting fit outside. And here we go, we're getting ready to go on into this park and do a little spikeboarding. So if you are new to spikeboarding, imagine that you cut this athlete in half. Just slice him in half and only pay attention to what's going on up top above his waistline. And that athlete is behaving like a cross-country skier. So the thrusting of the shaft to the rear is exactly what cross-country skiers do. Cross-country skiers do double poling, and they do single arm action independently as well in a stroke called diagonal stride. And they've got about 3, 4, 5 different combinations of movements where they synchronize the upper body in conjunction with the lower body on slippery boards on snow, and also slippery boards on wheels. What we might not know in many parts of the country and the world is that roller skiing has been going on for a long time. Now, waist down, this athlete is doing what's known as a switch kick when they are kicking, or their legs are just standing still on the board. And the two strokes that you're seeing right now is stand-up spike and kubi cross. So the kubi cross is the kicking and spiking simultaneously, and the stand-up spike stroke is when the legs stay on the deck and you stand up spike to either side. As we watch this video, you realize that the athlete is executing equally on both sides of the board. Right now they're descending. It's a lovely little sled ride. It's not all too fast, and it has a sensational rollout, so there's no problem with that. And left and right, an equal execution on both sides is a little foreign to people when they get on boards. People like to commit to one side. Of course, the neurology is telling them, hey, you have one dominant neurological side, and that other one, it's just itty-bitty, almost as if it's like a 5-year-old compared to a mature 25-year-old. So there's no skill, there's no power, there's no anything there. So as you watch this athlete, try to imagine which is the dominant support leg of this athlete. Is it his left leg? Is it his right leg? Well, the fact is that you only can go as fast and put as much power into either leg as the weakest leg. Just keep that in mind, and keep in mind that your least dominant leg and your weakest leg can develop, certainly it can develop to a very high level. So if had you seen this athlete say 8 years ago, their non-dominant leg wouldn't have been able to support them. And there is an entire sequence of events that leads to the efficacy of both this kubi cross that you're seeing here and the stand-up spike stroke. And you have to have some patience to learn them. Since it's new, sometimes people make the mistake of imagining, oh, I want to try that, I want to try it. Well, imagine if you saw swimming for the first time and you hadn't seen butterfly or backstroke or breaststroke or front crawl, and you got really excited and said, I want to try swimming, I want to try it. You wouldn't expect to be swimming with good technique in those 4 strokes after the first session. you wouldn't even imagine that, because you'd say, wow, yeah, well, of course I'm going to need to actually practice and study the technique, and study where the minutia of where the positioning of the elbows and the hands and all of this kind of thing. So this is very much the same in spikeboarding, and what we are here to do and help you with in on the spikeboarding channel is education. We want to help you become a spikeboarding student the way as you would become a student of swimming, and we want to be your online coaches. And if you have questions, just email them to us at info@spikeboarding.com, and we will try to begin to answer them by creating videos that can help you. But scroll back into all of our videos. We have over 100 of them, and we start on land without wheels. It's called dry land, and dry land drills come to us by way of speed skating on ice. So on speed skating on ice, they do a tremendous amount of dry land drills, and they help a lot. They help a lot because if you can't do it off of wheels, how on earth are you ever going to be able to do something on slippery ice or on wheels? So build one little facet at a time over the next, and be successful in your building. So don't try to go from 0 to 50. Just go from 0 to, pardon me, 0 to a quarter, and from a quarter, a half, and from a half to 3/4, and you'll make it to 1. And then when you pile on 2, 3, 4, and 5 up to 10, it'll be that much simpler and that much more secure. So sure, we're on a skateboard, but this isn't skateboard, folks. It's not skateboarding at all. It's cross-country skiing. It's simplified cross-country roller skiing, and it's using a switch kick. Absolutely. Are there longboarders out there that switch kick? There's a small few community of people that switch kick, and they're hands-free. That's wonderful. Well, good for them. But if you incorporate the cross-country skiing aspects of roller skiing onto a board, which is what you're seeing spikeboarding, the logical aspect of it, once you begin to do it, will resonate very loudly in your body, because you'll actually be able to go out and you'll be able to function and move your body in ways that are very similar to cross-country skiing. And cross-country skiing is such a comprehensive sport. So our creator, we were made with a core and lats and our back and our toes and our arms, all of it. If you can activate all of it, then you're going to be happy, you're going to be content, and you're going to maximize your time. So cycling, beautiful sport, but it isn't all encompassing of the mechanical systems in the body. Strength, endurance, balance, and flexibility. Those are all of the aspects of a table's legs that make the table of fitness. So if you're missing any of those, it's not a judgment, it's okay, it's not the end of the world, but you just haven't maximized fitness. So if you want to maximize fitness, it's strength, endurance, balance, and flexibility, guys. And spikeboarding can help with the big three, which is strength, endurance, and balance. Sometimes people say, oh, I have no balance. Nobody has balance. Who on earth is born with balance? Anybody who's executing balance is practicing balance. So one could very well say, I don't have any music sensibilities. Well, nobody does. You practice it. It's hard work. It's not easy to play a saxophone. It's not simple to grab the fret of a guitar and figure out all those chords. You've got to get calluses on your fingers, and you need a language and a dedication to understand how to speak it. So spikeboarding is no different. Spikeboarding is a sport. You're watching a derivation of cross-country roller skiing on a slippery board. It's a board with wheels, the same as roller skis are boards with wheels. So here we go up this high side. It's a really nice climb in Prospect Park, by the way. The laps just go reeling right off really, really easily. one after the next. So 5, 6, 7 laps of this, and at a tempo that's comfortable for the athlete. Is very pleasurable to be spikeboarding in Prospect Park, one of our favorite places. Of course, Central Park is also really nice, although Central Park isn't just one high side, low side. And the simplicity of a single climb loop is always really, really nice. You kind of get in the groove, and it's uphill and downhill and uphill and downhill. It's like a little lullaby that just never stops and isn't very taxing and complicated on your mind, and it's just small enough to where it's not going to break you. You're always going to say, hey, let's just do another lap. Whereas, you know, Central Park, you know, hey, am I going to do another lap? It's another 6.3 miles to do another lap, and not just one climb. So that's the beauty of Prospect Park. It's just one climb, and it isn't all that steep, and up and over you go. Next thing you know, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do another one. And the flow of everybody out there keeps you going, and it's a very pleasant park to be doing laps in, to be jogging in, and of course to be spikeboarding in. Spikeboarding is just another endurance athletics to add to your repertoire and to your language of human movement. And by the way, it's much more casual and less challenging to learn than roller skiing. So roller skiing is really a high challenge. This athlete is a roller skiing athlete, and they actually made it to roller skiing by way of first developing a good 5 years of spikeboarding. So spikeboarding is going to develop your core and your lat. You're really going to be prepared to get onto a pair of skinny skis. Your heels aren't bound to the binding, and you're only bound at your toe, balancing on board a 2 centimeter wide ski, one leg at a time. It's a high challenge, but it's very rewarding. I can't tell you how rewarding it is to be able to say, hey, I roller ski, and hey, I speak to my body with cross-country roller skiing. Folks, we're at the top of this loop, and we're getting ready to pop out here. We hope that you've enjoyed this video. Spike hard, spike often, spike boarding, and we're going to see you at the next one, I'm sure. So long, guys.